Mrs. Batlle?
That's a good question. I guess Batlle.
Okay.
Though my husband would prefer Pittman. Batlle.
Today is December 18th, 2004. We are at the workplace of Geraldine Batlle on South Road in Marlboro. Today's interview crew is Eli Pell as interviewer, Maddie Hawes on still camera, Elizabeth Hardy on audio recorder, and Rachel Lundstedt on video camera. I'd like to ask you a few questions about your background.
Good.
First one is, have you always lived in Marlboro, or did you move here from somewhere else?
I moved here from somewhere else.
When did you move here?
1966, I moved here full time.
Where did you move from?
Detroit, Michigan.
Why did you move to Marlboro?
Because I had come here on a skiing trip when I was in graduate school, and I thought it was one of the most beautiful places I'd ever seen in my life, and I decided I would like to live here, so I systematically began to look for a job here.
So how many years have you lived in there?
Well, let's see, 1969, 2004. I've not lived in Marlboro that long. I moved in 1966 to Guilford, Vermont, and I moved here in 1978. So how many years would that make that I've lived in Vermont? How's your math? Mine is a bit
22.
20, no, longer than that. 78 would be 66 from, it's almost 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
40 years. 38 years, to be exact.
How would you describe yourself when you were a child?
When I was a child, I was rebellious. I loved horses. I loved the animals. I grew up on a farm, so I was sympathetic to animals. I was interested in reading. I read constantly. But mostly I would say I was mischievous when I was a child.
May I ask how old you are now?
Yes, I am 60 now.
What college did you graduate from?
I graduated from Columbia University in graduate school, Southern Illinois undergraduate, and I went to Harvard for a year and Stanford for a year.
How many years did it take you to become a professor?
6 at Columbia, and then the postdoctoral years were 2, so 8 years.
What made you want to become a professor?
Because I love literature, I love reading. My childhood love of reading, I'm sure, was partially it. And so I just continued doing what I wanted to do all my life. I get paid for doing what I would do anyway, if I could, which is the best of all possible worlds.
Why have you continued to work as a professor?
Because Marlboro is a school that allows people to be independent in their study. It's a very liberal school. I think we train students to be citizens, and that's nice. Certainly we train them to think and not to believe everything they hear from the federal government. I also think that if you learn to read and write, you can do anything in life. So it doesn't matter to me what my students do afterwards, as long as they learn to read, to think, and to write clearly. And so I love doing that.
In what year did you begin teaching at Marlboro College?
1969.
So you've taught here for
33 years.
Where else have you taught?
I taught at Columbia University as a graduate student. I taught at Southern Illinois University, where I was an undergraduate, and I taught at Wayne State University.
What are some of the reasons why you accepted the job at the college?
Because I liked the way the school was run. I liked the fact that we have a replica of the Vermont town meeting. That is, I like the fact that the students take responsibility for their own academic programs. They take responsibility for their social life. And they are, after all, adults. So I was very pleased by the idea that I could teach at a place where the students were responsible and self-motivated.
Have you applied for a teaching job anywhere else?
I did in 1978. I decided that I was going to leave Marlboro because the salary was so low. And I was offered 3 jobs and didn't take either one of them.
What courses do you teach?
I teach the 19th century Russian novel. I teach the 19th century English novel. I teach Shakespeare. I teach humanities called Religion, Literature, and Philosophy, which is a great books symposium. It's my favorite course. It has 15 students in it, and we begin with the Greeks and go to Shakespeare.
Have you ever taught classes in subjects other than the ones you just mentioned?
Yes, I taught philosophy when I first came to Marlboro for a year. I taught courses on American independence. I'm very much interested in the Founding Fathers, and so I've done a course on the making of the Constitution, it was called, and enjoyed that very much.
Do you have a favorite research topic, and can you explain a little bit about it?
Favorite research topic would be Dante. I fell in love with Dante when I was a child, reading it with my father. And so anytime I have time to do research, I do that. I'm also interested in 18th century England, and I spent a while at a library in Wales working on a project for the Prime Minister of England and prostitution in Europe and England, which was at that time really, really high, and he was trying to fight it along with a group of women. So that was a very interesting project.
Have you ever had work published in magazines or journals?
Yes, I've had stuff published in the Harvard Educational Review. I had an article published in, I forget the name of the journal, in Vermont, the Vermont Historical Society. I haven't been interested in publishing as much as I have been in teaching, and I've given several lectures. I gave a lecture on Faulkner at the Sorbonne. I've lectured in the state of Vermont on works of literature. I've lectured at Middlebury and other colleges. But I'm not that interested in publication.
On what subjects were the journal?
A Harvard Educational Review was an article on teaching English, teaching writing. The things I had published in Uruguay were on Dickens. Let me think, what were they on? Charles Dickens, Toni Morrison, and an article on Jane Austen.
Who would you say has influenced you in your teaching style, and in what ways have they influenced you?
I would say my own mother, who taught. I was homeschooled, and she taught me. She was very patient, but also very demanding, so I think she has influenced me. I had a very good teacher at Southern Illinois University named Henry Nelson Wyman, who was a philosopher of religion, and I think he influenced me a great deal. And ironically enough, the person who most influenced my life and my teaching was Martin Luther King, because I worked in the civil rights movement in the South, and I watched the way they taught us, and I learned a great deal from that.
Who were the people who had your job before you began?
I don't think anyone. I think they added me. There was an older woman, Audrey Gorton, who taught literature here, but I didn't replace her. She didn't retire. She was a wonderful teacher, and she didn't retire until 1985. So I taught with her for a long time.
What authors do you like to read for pleasure?
Dante, Dickens, and Shakespeare.
Would you please describe a typical day at work?
Oh my goodness. Let me think. I start work at 9:30 in the morning, and I have classes and tutorials all day long. If I, let's see what I'll be doing, what I just did this last semester. On Thursday, let's say, I begin at 10:30 with a planned student. Well, I just do tutorials all day long on Thursday. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have my classes, which begin at 10:30. One of those is the history of the First World War and its literature. And then I have that seminar that I told you about at 11:30. And all the rest are tutorials. I have tutorials this year on the Greek playwrights, on Shakespeare, on Dante, on Toni Morrison, and some more that I can't remember right now.
What do you feel were the more important parts of your job?
The most important parts of my job are teaching people to write and to think for themselves and to rely on themselves.
What are some of the parts of your job that you like?
Oh, I love the classroom. I love reading. I love my colleagues. We're small, so we have 38 people all told, and I'm constantly learning from my colleagues, and I know that I can rely on them to help me with students who are doing well. So that part of my job I really like. The colleagues and the students, and the atmosphere of this place is wonderful.
Are there any parts of your job that you dislike?
Marking papers. Having to judge grades. But I do it willingly because it's important, but I don't like it.
What are some of the ways your job has changed over time?
It actually has not changed that much because, and that's one reason I have stayed here. Marlboro has decided to remain small, even though it's poor. It has decided to keep the class size small. It has decided to focus on classical literature rather than other forms of literature. I mean, we teach other things, but the curriculum is very conservative, and I like that.
What are some of the ways students have changed over time?
I think they've got better, but I think they've also got more apathetic. I think the current political situation has depressed my students a great deal. I think they're better trained now at Marlboro than they were when I first came here because the reputation of the school has gotten better. But I do find that they're depressed politically and they're apathetic about being able to change the world. I grew up in the 60s and we thought we could. These people in the 90s are less sure.
What are some of the things about Marlboro College that you feel are unique?
The town meeting is unique. The fact that we have a community court that is the only agency at the college that can dismiss a student. That is, a student cannot be dismissed by an administrator. The community court is made up of 2 faculty, 2 students, 2 staff, and it's that committee that decides whether or not to expel a person. I also think that the way faculty are hired and fired is unique because there are 2 students on the faculty review committee and they have an equal voice with the faculty, and that's fine by me. Town meeting is unique. I think our curriculum is unique because it's very classical.
What have some of your students gone on to do after leaving Marlboro?
Well, I just got 2 books. This student won a poetry award, Sophie Cabot Black. This student has just published a book on the Whale Road. Some have become teachers, but most students have become social workers. I have one student who has become political. He just got elected to the chairmanship of the Vermont Democratic Party. 4 of my students who studied literature have gone on to medical school, which I think is incredible. So they've done a variety of things, but mostly service-oriented things. But this student won a poetry award 2 or 3 years ago. She's a very fine poet. Sophie Campbell.
What are some of your interests outside of teaching?
I love the opera. I love the theater. I love going to England to see plays. I love swimming, though there's no really good place to swim in Vermont. I love horseback riding. But theater and opera are my real loves.
Is there anything else about your job that you'd like to mention but that I haven't asked you?
Well, it's very demanding. It's one of the most demanding teaching jobs in the country. When my friends come here and find out how many classes I teach and the range of what I teach, they're always astonished. But I like that part of Marlboro because we learn from our students and from each other by trying things that we're not expert in. Doesn't help us publish, but then I'm not interested in publishing. So it's fun. I like it very much here. It's a beautiful place to live. It allows me 3 months off in the summer. So teaching is a wonderful job in that respect because you have 3 months to read and to learn and to do your own work.
That's all the questions I have.
May I just say that I enjoyed the last crew that interviewed me, especially Isla, who was my interviewer then, and I've enjoyed the interview with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's it. Did you get enough pictures, do you think?
Yeah. Can I
Yes. Did you take a picture of this one?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Are you done, right?
Almost. I just could we use your phone?
Yes, you may. It's right over there.
Can I use your pen for a minute?
Can you what? Oh.
Do I have to dial again?
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to dial a 7. A 7, not a 9.
There's a little blinking orange light over
That means I have a call. So that disregard that. I'll answer as soon as you're finished. Hey, you were with the last crew, weren't you? No? No?
Maybe it was probably Marie.
Where has she lived?
She lives
She lives in a round house.
no.
Yeah, but before.
She moved?
Yeah, she moved to Marlboro. She told me the other one who was here.
Oh, that might have been Audrey.
Audrey, that's right.
Go away. What is it?
Oh, don't write on your hand. You could be allergic to that. And you want a piece of paper? No.
Is this yours?
No. I think that must be his.
Okay.
So you think it worked this time?
Yeah.
Yep. Did I put the case on?
Okay.
Did you get him?
What?
Did you get him?
Yeah. He's coming along.
Davey, you can go. Margaret! Margaret! Who do we have? John! Yeah! She's red. Yeah. Eric! Eric! You got Eric. All right. Ethan.
I'm flying.
The paper's hanging up, and it.
I don't want. Stop recording.
Oh, I just figured out a new way.
I want to see.
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
You're not supposed to. Okay,
Let me see. I want to see. I want to see. Okay, I want to take a play.
Oh.
Did that do
They just
anything?
missed it.
Did that?
No, I heard it. I heard it.
It doesn't go blurry. See if it goes blurry.
We're trying to figure out what made the camera blurry.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't?
Told you.
Yeah, because I don't can't be that. Really ask Liza a question, she goes goodbye or something like that, according to Charlie.
Yeah, no, she does.
You can be working on Applewood stuff, but not this.
What?
Look on this one.
Oh no, Kelly, your arm is in the picture.
You ready, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're right. It probably what looks like it was on night.
Yeah, I guess. So I think what I'll have them do